Greetings. We're still on the book of Exodus. Today we want to look at the God of New Beginnings. The God of New Beginnings. Sometimes you get so discouraged, so sad, so disappointed that you would like to throw in the towel. You feel like giving up because you have tried so many things and none of them seem to work. You are at the dead end, and everyone is saying that there is nothing good in the horizon. Your Egyptians are not going anywhere. The plagues are multiplying all around you. So you just say to yourself, in this situation, what can I do? Your Moses and Aaron advocates are going back and forth to your Pharaoh, but nothing seems to work. The years turn to months, and the months turn to weeks, and the weeks turn to hours, hours turn to minutes, but no help or no help seems to be on the horizon. You start your why me or why us. You start saying, when, oh when? These questions are the questions you ask yourself. Let us look at the book of Exodus, chapter 12, to see what God is saying to us about new beginnings for us. In fact, Exodus chapter 12, verse 1 to 6 emphasizes God's new beginnings to you. And I hope by the time I finish, you receive your new beginnings. Exodus chapter 12 and verse 1. When the Israelites were still in the land of Egypt, the Lord gave the following instructions to Moses and Aaron. From now on, this month will be the first month of the year for you. Announce to the whole community of Israel that on the 10th day of this month, each family must choose a lamb of a young goat for a sacrifice, one animal for each household. If a family is too small to eat a whole animal, let them share with another family in the neighborhood. Divide the animal according to the size of each family and how much they can eat. Then the animal you select must be a 1-year-old male, either a sheep or a goat, with no defects. Take special care of this chosen animal until the evening of the 14th day of this month. Then the whole assembly of the community of Israel must slaughter their lamb their lamb or young goat at twilight. This is what God is saying, and He says He wants to give you a new beginning. In the first place, we want to look at revelation. What is God's revelation to us concerning new beginnings? We also look at the announcement, God's announcement or God's message concerning new beginnings, the announcement of new beginnings. And we want to look at also the precious sacrifice involved in new beginnings. We also want to look at the interaction with God in new beginnings. And then we want to look at, lastly, the intervention of God when it comes to new beginnings. Now, let's first look at the revelation. In Exodus chapter 12, verse 1 to 2, it says, Now the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be your beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. This month shall be your beginning of months. Yes, this year, this month shall be the beginning of months for you. So God always begins. There shall be a vision for you, a vision of a new beginning. Yes, the coming deliverance from Egypt was such a significant act that God told the children of Israel to remake their calendar. They have to remake their calendar. The new year will now start with the month of their redemption from Egypt. It was a dramatic way of saying that everything was to change. God is ever the God of new beginnings in the history of failure. God is the God of new beginnings in the history of failure. So in the midst of your failures, God is going to start a new thing, and that will mark the new beginning which you would never forget, and you always mark it. Then there is also, secondly, the announcement from God of new beginnings. Announcement to the whole community of Israel that He is going to do it. Speak to all the congregation of Israel. This is the first occurrence in the Pentateuch of what was to become a technical term. This is God always speaking to people. And when He speaks to people, He speaks to them very clearly for them to hear. If you are part of God's relatives with a clear, intentional relationship with Him, then God will speak with you. Are you part of God's relatives with a clear intentional relationship with Him? Then God will always intervene and give you new beginnings. Specifically, the message is on its way to your congregation. So don't separate yourself from God's ecclesia. There is nowhere else that God speaks except to His own through the channels He has chosen. He says, speak. God said, speak to the whole community. Exodus chapter 12, verse 3a. Announce to the whole community. So when God is going to speak and you are not in church, you won't hear. When God is going to speak and you are not at the prayer meeting or at the revival, you will not hear. It doesn't matter whether somebody has made you angry and you decide not to go. When you decide not to go, you will not hear the announcement of your new beginning. May you go to church. May you go to the prayer meeting. May you go to the revival to hear God say to you, I have a new beginning for you. Now, precious sacrifice to God. In Exodus chapter 12, verse 3b, it says, each family must choose a lamb or a young goat for a sacrifice, one animal for each household. And verse 4 of Exodus 12 says, if a family is too small to eat a whole animal, let them share with another family in the neighborhood. Divide the animal according to the size of each family and how much they can eat. The animal you select must be a 1-year-old male, either a sheep or a goat with no defects. Take special care of this chosen animal until the evening of the 14th day of this first month. So every man shall take for himself a lamb. And it means that every family should take for himself a goat or a lamb. And they should keep this goat or family for a whole year. So they become so attached to the animal. That animal becomes part of that family. The sacrifice of God should be part of God's family. It should be things that is precious. The money that is precious to the family. The money that is precious to the wife and the husband and the children. That is what you are going to take to sacrifice to God so that God's deliverance will come your way. In this way, the lamb became just part of the family. By the time it was sacrificed on the 14th, it was both cherished and mourned. God wanted the sacrifice of something precious. As God plans something new for you, you should also be ready to part with something precious to show your commitment and readiness. Your lamb shall be without blemish. The lamb was also to be without blemish. This sacrifice to the Lord had to be a perfect sacrifice, a perfect lamb. You don't take the leftovers and give to God. You take a perfect sacrifice which is precious to you and you give to God as your commitment to what God is going to do for you in terms of the new beginnings. New beginnings does not start without a sacrifice of something precious to God. Interaction. There's a need for interaction with God through the family unit. If a family is too small to eat a whole animal, let them share with another family in the neighborhood. If the household is too small for a whole lamb, they cannot afford a whole lamb. They cannot not afford some things that have to do with family. If you are alone, a loner, you don't have any relationships, you have to come into a group with other people so as to expect the Passover of God. In the economy of God, there is nothing like freelance. There's nothing like I am on my own. I can do my own church. I can do my own sacrifice. Sacrifices to God are done in community and especially in small groups. Do you belong to the cell group? Do you go to a prayer meeting? Do you belong to a group in your church? Are you just a loner? God does not work with loners. The Passover was a domestic and family festival, and this shows its early origin. God is interested in small groups that do things as family units. Hebrews 10:25 emphasizes, it says it's about this kind of meeting where God visits and does new things in house groups, cells, family altars, and it's very crucial in the economy of God that you shall be a part of a family that worships God and sacrifices to God. God is going to do a new beginning in your family when you meet together and you decide to sacrifice something precious from the family to God. House groups, cell groups, family altars are very crucial in God's doing new things in your life. Intervention, which is the last. The intervention of God at our darkest moments. Exodus 12:6b says, then the whole assembly of the community of Israel must slaughter this lamb of young goat at twilight. Israel shall kill it at twilight. Christ came in the evening of the world. In the last hour, that is 1 John 2:11. In the last hour, that is when Christ came. When all lay buried in darkness, in the eventude of our sin and death, that is when Christ came. In the evening, when you are almost down, God shines his light to do new things in your life. The ultimate statement is found in Isaiah 43:19. Behold, I make all things new. The whole community at twilight, in the darkness, in the night, the period of doubts, the period when nothing is working, that is when God intervenes. May God turn your darkness into light, and may newness visit you now as God changes the calendar of your life that is old and give you a new beginning with freshness and vigor. God bless you.
Hope you are blessed with this message. To get in touch with other messages of the servants of God, follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel.